I'm Lee Spencer with the Racing Boys, and I am with Erik Jones. And you said something interesting the other day about Kentucky and how you really dig that track. What is it about the layout that appeals to you?
Well, it's interesting. I've ran well there. I wouldn't consider it necessarily one of my favorite tracks of all time, but it's somewhere I just like going. And for me, it's a really technical place, just the way 3 and 4 is laid out with as flat and as wide as it is. 1 and 2 is not too technical, but just getting your car good down there and trying to find the balance has always been pretty good to me. I feel like I have a good idea of kind of how to get my car driving right through there and knowing what I need for practice in the day and then racing at night. So it's always went pretty well, and I think that's kind of lended its hand to why I've enjoyed going there over the last few years.
They kind of changed the design of the track. Did that help you, hurt you? You have a good idea about the balance?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I didn't know what it was going to do going into it the first year, but it actually didn't end up changing my approach that much. I was able to kind of go and do the same things that I did on the old surface that made me fast, and even some of the things that got taken away, moving around, moving up to the higher grooves, the middle grooves got taken out, but it still was the same things you wanted your car to do in turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and I think that's kind of what continued the trend there.
I was talking to Jimmy Johnson and your mentor and teammate Kyle Busch and about the 550 horsepower package. And you guys usually grow up with a lot of horsepower and lightweight. And what kind of, what has it taken to get used to going from 850 down to 550. There's been a lot of debate about that. NASCAR said they're not budging on that number. How do you acclimate to slowing down when you're so used to going fast?
Yeah, it's just different. The way you set your car up in practice and some of the changes you have to make during the race are different. You don't really adjust your car necessarily the same way you would. The toughest part probably as a driver is trying to decide really how much you want to trim your car out, how much downforce you want to build into it. In practice for the race. That's probably the most challenging part is that. It's funny, you always used to tune your car to be the best driving and the fastest it could be, and you're always good in the race that way, and now it's not necessarily that way. Sometimes you have to sacrifice some handling for some speed, and that makes you better during the race. So it's a mixed bag, and it was kind of a relearning process. I tried to use some of my stuff that made me fast in trucks, and some of it transferred, but a lot of it really didn't. Just the way the cars drive and some of the things we've done as a team and in the sport as a whole. So it's been a learning process for everybody, especially on the 1.5 miles, relearning how to race and some of the moves you have to make to put yourself in position. So it's a lot different. It's just been, like I said, a learning process through the whole year.
You were a rock star in trucks, and you really showed your stuff in the Xfinity. For the fans out there that don't understand, what is that jump like going trucks and then Xfinity? And you've been on the fast track, but what is that jump like from trucks to Xfinity to Cup? Because you did it so quickly.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, you get into trucks and feel like you figure out quickly what you need to do to win. Same with Xfinity. And as long as you're in a good car, you usually adapt pretty fast. And going to Cup, it's just different. You have to really take your time to learn what. It's not a matter of being fast. Everybody at this level's fast. It's a matter of figuring out how to race and how to run these long races and how to put yourself in position to win them. You have to be up on the adjustment so much more through the race, and these guys are so crafty in their racing that it makes it a challenge at times to keep up with them and stay up with the moves that they're making. So I would say that's the biggest adjustment, is just adapting to the longer races, and the guys that you're racing with are so good at tuning their cars for the long races. They've ran these tracks for so long and know really what it takes to be good and win at them. So you have to play catch up a little bit. It's not just anymore at this level being fast. It's so much more than that to try to win these races.
Can you still lean on Kyle, and now having 2 champions under the roof at JGR, is that like double the experience that you can lean on if you do have a question about how the car should feel at certain places?
Yeah, I mean, it always helps. They're good at their own tracks and make so it's easy to learn and figure out. I like going to them and being able to lean on them and get information from them. So it's definitely a help. All they do is help our program as a whole and make it stronger at the end of the day.
And Kyle was saying, he also said last weekend about passing is going to be a premium at New Hampshire. Is that been your experience in the past? And do you expect New Hampshire to perhaps mirror Phoenix a little bit because it's a flat 1 mile racetrack?
Yeah, I think it'll be similar. Passing this year has been challenging at really a lot of the tracks, and it's been track position kind of races, so it's not going to be any different at New Hampshire. You're going to want to start and stay up front. It's going to be challenging because the way that the PJ1's laid down, you have to run similar lanes as everybody else, at least on the entry to the center. So you're going to have your car driving really well if, you're not in the position you want to be track position-wise, but it's definitely going to be tough, and it's going to be a matter of trying to make as many moves and gain as much as you can on the restarts for later in the runs to try to position yourself.
Really appreciate your time today.
Yep, thanks.